You're listening to the Live Out Loud podcast with River Wynn and Michelle Flamer.
Hi, River.
Hello, Michelle.
I'm a little tired today because I stayed up late last night talking to my mom.
How's your mom?
She's better now, but the fires in LA, which are now continually going, they are not all put out yet. And so this is not new news unless someone has literally been living under a rock. They don't know what's
Mm,
happening. But I really haven't heard that panic in my mom's voice before, like in a really long time. And she actually self-admitted that she was really shaky, when she got that text because she had been really good at watching what's going on the news. And I didn't do an I told you so, but I asked her 2 days ago, now 3 days ago. I said, Mom, just put together a go bag. Here's the list.
mm,
This is what I saw online. And I'm just saying it like, just be ready. Like, you're 77 years old. Like,
mm-hmm,
just take these couple of days where you're feeling safe and
mm-hmm.
just put your stuff away, like put it in the car and just be ready just in case. Because when it happens, you might not get a lot of time. It just depends on the winds.
Yeah, yes. And for anybody who's listening who hasn't heard about Michelle's mom, her episode with her mom, Michelle's mom lives in LA, and that's where your childhood home is.
Yes.
Like this very important home to you all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just been interesting how, I mean, you know how it is. It's like certain things can trigger and do things to you. And it has really, the whole fire, kind of reminded me of what happened with the 94 earthquake. And,
Hmm.
my mom was out of town during that time and I went over to check on her home. I was living in North Hollywood at the time, so not too far, for the sake of people who might be geographically not understanding but it was, I was probably like 10 minutes away from her
Mm-hmm.
house. And I went over and I just couldn't believe, you know, the full front of the house had been shaken loose, and
Hmm.
the rubble and the fireplace in that front room in this house was totally on top of like anything and everything. If my mom is a little bit of a pack rat, I'm just going to be kind of
Mm-hmm.
that, but she's definitely not a hoarder. But man, the woman can fucking pack some
I
shit.
think that's typical of her generation.
Yeah, it is. Like she's keeping I'm like, Mom, we need to like shed some of this crap. And
Mm-hmm.
she's tried over the years, but it's hard to keep up with. It's kind of
Yeah.
like what's happening with the fires. It's hard for everybody to keep up with this stuff.
But she didn't have to evacuate, am I correct?
Yeah, she ended up not having to evacuate.
Yeah.
And what was interesting, River, and fun was we were just talking. And so we were watching the same news broadcast, which is ABC 7, which is in LA.
Okay.
Amazon Prime just happens to have it. And so it was like really convenient. So I had on the picture, but I could hear, because of course, the other part of this age thing is her fucking TV is so loud. So I literally turned mine down. Otherwise, I'm getting like weird echo. You know what I mean? And
Yes.
so, I can't wait to just continue to tell you all this because I on purpose wanted to share this with you
I'm
for the podcast.
just I'm laughing because you would hate how loud I have the TV on when I listen to the
Oh,
TV.
that's
I'm already a 70-year-old person when it comes to the
I,
TV.
you know what? At least you own it. Like whatever. So she goes, hold on one second. I'm listening. I go, okay, good. Me too. And so I'm listening, and they were talking about different stuff, and then we would continue to talk. And then all of a sudden, they mentioned a few places where you could go for donations, that they were creating these new
Mm,
areas in the valley now, in Encino and at Lanark Recreation Center. And I was like, Mom, Lanark was the pool that I was the lifeguard at. And she's like,
mm,
oh. I go, that's also the pool that I got hit by a car driving riding my bike to that pool. I shit you not, River. She's like, what do you mean you got hit by a car? I go, Mom, I got like $11,000 from these people. Like, she's all, what? When did you get? I go, Mom. So this is one of these moments where it was a IFS healing moment for some of my parts
Uh-huh.
because I always thought that it was a little like and my little trauma. I know I have a little trauma compared to a lot of people, but I didn't realize that it like, our bodies remember
Yeah, our bodies
that.
carry that. Yeah.
I'm all, Mom, I called you and I said, Mom, I got hit by a car. I'm going to the ER right now. Like my leg was gushing. Like I have a big scar. I go, the scar on my leg on my outside of my thigh. She goes, oh, the one, like you pretend it's a shark bite. I go, "Oh, yeah, I do sometimes say that because it's funny, because it's so much more interesting than like a car. She goes, I didn't know that happened then. So she goes, okay, so tell me the whole story. So I'm telling her, I go, I called you and I said, Mom, I need to go to the emergency room. Can you please meet me there? I'm going to Tarzana Medical. And she's like, I just got out of a shower. I said, Mom, you said, I'm getting out of a shower. Can you call your father? Who, by the way, I'm like West Valley. My dad is in Hollywood, like really close to where the Hollywood sign is.
Uh-huh.
And so it's like 25 minutes and a canyon past where I am. I mean, like it's like it's further away than where my mom is. My mom's 20 minutes early, like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
closer.
Yes.
And so she would be to me faster, like if she was just, and she goes, Oh my God, I don't remember any of that. And I go, Oh, I believe you. And she goes, I remember when you broke your collarbone. I've had so many accidents on my bikes.
Yeah,
She
it
goes,
sounds like it.
I remember when you broke your collarbone. I remember like she starts listing shit. She goes, but you were living with me because for 2 years I lived with my dad when my little brother Joey was born.
Mm.
So I was biking from his house it was summer to the lifeguards, to the pool so I could work as a
Mm-hmm.
lifeguard. But these two drunk guys came out of a parking lot, and it was Topanga Canyon, which a lot of people know of right now because of the fires. And so I was biking Topanga Canyon, and these guys coming out of a bar, which is why I got a small settlement.
Mm.
And it pushed me out into Topanga Canyon. I was really lucky because, again, divine timing, a divine order, but it was a red light. Otherwise, if it had been like traffic, I would have
Yeah.
been thrown into traffic, which would have probably
Oh, shit.
been worse for me.
Yeah.
So I just got hit and and was bleeding all over the place. And my mom said, maybe because you're always so kind of cool, calm, and collected when you called me. Maybe if you'd been really crying or I go, I'm going to the emergency. So we just started laughing. Like we were laughing so hard. Like I was so glad. And then we started talking about this whole other thing, which is, um, did I ever tell you the story, Riv, when I found her stolen car?
No.
Okay, I got to tell this story too. Is this okay? Are you good?
Yes, yes, let's
Okay,
hear
Pod Squad, bear with me. I hope you're enjoying this because this is the download with my
it.
mom and I.
Michelle's going down nostalgia lane.
Oh my God, because my mom's just bringing all this fun stuff.
Yeah.
So you know why I have a hard time watching Raiders of the Lost Ark? And I'm like, why? She goes, well, that was the day Kenny, you and I went to the movie. By the way, this movie theater is 2 blocks from our house. I don't even know why we drove over there. Like, so the whole moment was like, well, so I said, well, why were we even driving there? Like, your car shouldn't have even been there. Like, it should have been in our house, at our house. And she goes, well, we did walk home because the car was stolen. And I was like, yeah, that's true. So, flash forward, maybe 3 weeks later, my mom's called the insurance. She's already like working out the details.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a friend's car with their mom because of course I'm like probably 13. I don't even know what year. I have to look and see what year the Indiana Jones came out because then I'll know how old I was.
Mm-hmm.
But I was old enough to have like I think I was like a 12-year-old or 11-year-old and I was like hanging. And so all of a sudden I'm from the back seat. I go, Oh my God, that's my mom's stolen car in front of us, driving on Ventura.
It was like right in front of you.
Right in front of us. Like it's 4 miles from our house. It's like they didn't even like I thought it was in Mexico. Like it's for parts or
They didn't
sold or
even leave the
broken.
neighborhood.
Yeah, it's like hanging out in the neighborhood. And
Oh my
so
gosh.
we didn't have phones back then, right? Like
Yeah.
we had to pull over, call the police, and the mother, my friend's mom was like, "Hey, I've got this, I've got my friend's daughter with us, blah blah blah, or my daughter's daughter, my daughter's friend." And so the cop came and I said, "Yeah, this is the car." And I know what the guy looks like because we kind of pulled up and I was like, "Oh my God." So I was looking and seeing who was
Yeah.
so I stood behind. So the cop's like, "Okay, we're gonna go in. I don't want you to say anything."
Oh, it
And
was parked.
yeah, he parked. He was going into a bar,
Oh my. So you followed him. Okay.
a
Okay.
dark bar. Yeah, a dark
Okay.
bar. And I'm like, so I'm not old enough to go into the bar at this.
Right.
But the mom's there, and then the cop's like, "What you're gonna do is you're gonna stand behind me." Because he has one of those big ass flashlights. They have those
Uh-huh.
lights that are so bright. And he's like, "I am going to basically come in and just say, hey, I'm just checking on things in here. I got a call." Like he just was very general and vague. So
Yeah.
no one would be freaked out. You know what I mean? It was very chill. And so the minute we saw the person, I just tapped him on his shoulder, like, just a little tap on the back of his shoulder with my hands. And he knew that was it. And then he would go back and he just double checked it with me and he went back on the person. I tapped him again. And he's like, "All right, folks, thank you so much." And then he walked me out where it would be safe. And then they arrested the guy. Evidently, this guy didn't steal it though. He bought it from somebody who
Who
evidently
stole
was the
it?
one who stole it.
Oh my gosh.
And so my mom was like, "Great, now I get this car back."
But wait, like who buys a car that doesn't have a title?
Someone who didn't want to have credit check, someone who probably was like, "Hey, 15K, 1500 for this." You know what I mean? He just unloaded it.
So
So this
stupid.
guy's like, "I got a good deal. This car fucking runs well, like 15, whatever. I don't even know how. Could have been $900. Like, I don't know. They
And then
could have
if you get pulled over and you don't have, oh, okay. Anyways, yeah.
I know,
Hmm.
but I mean, so it was
What an
really
idiot.
crazy. So, yeah, so my mom and I were laughing about that. And and then I said, "You feeling better?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm feeling better, honey. Thanks for staying on the phone with me." It was 1 a.m. And if you know me
Hmm.
at all, like that is way past my bedtime. So I'm a
You were
little,
never up at 1 a.m.
I
Mm-mm.
know, unless it's like some really good party or I'm forced to stay up, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
But yeah, it's very rare that I am up that late. So I'm a little tired today and looking forward to, getting a good night's sleep because tomorrow I'm off to the Atlanta gift
And
show.
traveling.
Whoop, whoop. Oh my God, I can't wait to see my team. It was snowing in Atlanta, so I'm
Was
hoping
it?
I'm hoping it's not going to be snowing tomorrow, but so I'm planning to make sure that I have what I need so
Hmm.
I don't slip and fall. But the good thing about downtown Atlanta, it's like Minneapolis. It's like a what are those cute little critters like a hamster wheel? It's like a little hamster maze. So you can get to the mart through our hotel.
Oh, cool.
So I don't even have to go outside if I don't want to unless. So that's a
That'll
good.
be fun.
It'll be nice. So you'll get lots of videos and stuff from there. But
First travel of 2025.
yeah, first travel. I'm excited. I'm gonna book my trip with Kaden. We're gonna go to Ireland,
Oh,
Dublin.
you decided on a place.
Kaden and I decided she really wants to go. I gave her three choices: Japan, Iceland, and Japan's usually her number one.
That's where
Iceland.
I would have assumed she would have chosen because you've talked about that before.
I
Yeah.
know. And so no, she's like really excited about castles and just like the beauty of it. I think she saw the serenity. I don't know. I
Mm,
just think she didn't want the hustle and bustle of Japan right
that'll
now.
be fun. Are you gonna rent a car and drive around?
Yeah, I said,
Yeah.
"Kaden, are you going to be my you're going to have to give me directions because I'm going to be driving on that where you're sitting right now." She goes, "Yeah, Mom, you can't crash." And I go, "No, we won't crash." And most of my friends, like I've driven on that side of before.
Hmm.
It takes like a day to get used to. It's weird, but
Hmm.
it's like you're just really focused.
Yeah. You're gonna
So
have so much fun.
yeah, so that'll be spring break. I'm excited, but I was really inspired after all the fires and like I
Hmm.
said, all these things have been going through. So I wanted to read my letter to Los Angeles, if that's okay.
Yeah, I heard it earlier, and it's beautiful.
Oh,
Mhm.
thanks, friend.
Yeah, share it.
Okay, cool. So dear Los Angeles, and I'll put a photo of my mom's of my home of the home on it. I
Hmm.
think that really like it just helps give that visual. But dear Los Angeles, I have loved you and I have hated you, but mostly I have felt you. You've been the setting of my highest highs and lowest lows, a complicated, beautiful backdrop to a life that couldn't have unfolded quite this way anywhere else. You welcomed me when I was just a 4-year-old girl, wide-eyed and unaware of the story you and I would write together. My mother still holds down the fort in our family home in Sherman Oaks, the foundation of so many memories. That house is a witness to the unfolding of my childhood, my parents' divorce, and the deep friendships that somehow grew in the cracks, enduring over 50 years. You were my first love, LA. The beaches with their endless horizons, the Santa Monica Mountains that demanded I climb and reflect, the courts of Santa Monica College where I served tennis balls and discovered myself, all of it, all of you, made me who I am. You let me play, find my footing, and stumble with grace as I grew into adulthood. Your hills held my dreams, whispered with me about building a business and carving out a life. Your streets bore witness to my loves, my losses, and the rituals of laying my ancestors to rest. You've marked every milestone, even as you broke my heart time and again. It's impossible to explain you to someone who hasn't lived you. How do I describe the paradox of your gridlock traffic giving way to quiet joy at the Grove lit up for Christmas? The annoyance of your endless sprawl during its into serenity over brunch in Malibu. You are a city of contrasts, a reminder that beauty and chaos can exist in the same breath. And now you burn again. I hear the crackle of the news and the unsteady tremor in my mom's voice as she tells me she needs to evacuate. I see the smoke on the horizon and feel the sting of knowing that the landscape will change yet again. What we've lost this time isn't just physical, houses, trees, history, but none of it is ever truly gone. The wildflowers will bloom again, the ocean remains steady, and our roots, even charred, grow deeper. We've done this before, haven't we? Earthquakes, mudslides, fires. We're battered but unbroken. You've taught me, Los Angeles, that healing is a messy process, gritty, raw, and full of resilience. Even now, as the flames rise, the best of you emerges. The first responders, the firefighters, neighbors helping neighbors, and the strength of millions who call you home. Thank you for being both soft and jagged, fragile and unyielding. Thank you for holding me in your contradictions, for growing me, and for reminding me that not all loss is final. I love you, Los Angeles. I hate you sometimes too, but mostly I'm grateful for you. You're not just a city, you're a part of me. Your story is my story, and I promise no matter how many times you burn, I'll always come back. With all my heart, Michelle. I liked your snapping. That was
Yeah, that was so beautiful. So
thank
well written and beautiful.
thank you. I just literally, you know how those moments happen. Like they just pour
Yeah.
out of you.
Yeah, especially, seeing what's happening there, I've only been to LA one time. I drove through LA on a road trip, but I know a lot of people who are from there, and there are a lot of people I care about that have family who are there, and just, seeing the stories, seeing the footage. I think it's shaking everyone,
Yeah.
but especially people who have roots there, who have ties there. It's
Yeah,
a
I
very
mean,
emotional thing. It's so, multifaceted, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the healing processes as the fires are put out and what comes next. I know I was watching the news last night, and they were talking about how so many of these people who are losing their homes, they have nothing now because insurance won't cover stopped covering them because they were in a
Yeah.
fire zone. And
Yeah,
so
evidently,
how do you rebuild when you don't have
yeah.
insurance, and there's just so many unknowns. It just breaks my heart, that one day you're going about life and then the next thing you know, you've lost everything that you have.
Yeah, it was really, I think it was really so telling because you're watching people on the news standing in front of their home that they just lost. And the word that they continually use is everything's gone. It's just
Everything's gone.
gone.
Yeah,
It's gone. Like that's like all I kept hearing was it's gone. It's gone.
it's
It's gone.
gone.
All of it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and watching the news last night, it prompted, I was at my sister's house and we had a long conversation about just preparedness in general. Like,
Yeah.
like having photos, for insurance of the inside of your home, for your valuables, for the things that matter to you that you'd want to have replaced or, have insurance cover,
Mhm.
or just even like having all of your documents. Like, what do you need if an emergency happened and you had to go? What would you
Uh-huh.
take? We were
Uh-huh.
talking about that, and I'm so glad that so much of like the things that are most important to me are honestly photos. Like I have so many photographs that are important to me and I realize like everything I have is digitally backed up. And so when I was thinking about like what would I grab if I needed to, it'd be like, oh, my kids, my document box, my computer, my camera, my
Your
animals, and
animals.
get out. Like that's
Yeah.
everything else. Like it would be really sad to lose everything. But I'm kind of at the point where most of my material possessions don't have like they have meaning to me and they're important to me, but if I lost them, it would be okay, you know.
Yeah.
But that's
Hmm.
not true for everyone, you know. A lot of
No.
people are really attached to their material possessions, and so
I
that's a
mean,
huge loss.
my friends who were about to be evacuated, they went and got um a U-Haul because one of their her moms, one of their my friend Beth, her mom was a painter. And they're like
Mm,
massive, beautiful, and her mom's passed away for like a long time ago.
mm,
And so they got the U-Haul so that they could put these huge paintings in there
yeah,
that those because that is absolutely cannot
be
you cannot
replaced. You can't replace
yeah
that. Yeah,
yeah you can't replace those. So
yeah.
I was like, wow, that's really smart of you. I mean, so they're paying whatever, $30 a day, just to know that, and it's probably only going to last a couple of more days, hopefully another couple of, 5, 6 days before they are, I mean, maybe it won't all be out, but at least like the heavy shit is behind everybody. But I mean, it's going to take a lot of perseverance and getting through it all. But yeah, it's just been really interesting because I feel so at home in Oregon. Like that to me was one of the first places that as an adult I chose to live there.
Mm.
And
In
LA
Oregon or in LA?
in Oregon because in
Okay.
LA I didn't have a choice. I was
Mhm.
poor, when we moved back.
Yeah,
And my whole family was there. That's why we moved back
yeah.
to California. So we were in Texas. I was born on an Air Force base. So when we moved to LA, it was really to be around family. So my mom had
Hmm.
support, my dad had, so everyone had support. And I grew up really close to all my cousins. They're like all siblings to me, more so
Hmm.
than cousins. And so, yeah, I've been checking on everybody a lot. And if anything, it teaches you that life is precious again. And,
Yeah.
and resources. And I can't put blame on anything. No one could have anticipated 100-mile-per-hour winds. I mean,
No,
Mother
no.
Nature's pissed.
Right. Which is something a lot of astrologers have been talking about coming into 2025, the astrology
Yeah.
for 2025. I wish I could remember which astrologer I was listening to speak about this. They were talking about how the energy, especially this is before the fires started, that the energy for early 2025, the astrology is all like fire and water. and, and here we are with these giant fires happening, and
Well, let me interrupt real sec. So Tyler Henry, who's a medium,
mm,
okay, he has a show on Netflix right now. He's like
hmm.
a Hollywood, he's young and he likes,
Oh, is this the young
well,
guy who talks to
he's,
people's family members?
yes, and he scribbles a lot while he does it. So
Yes.
Ricky Lake's episode, because Ricky lost everything in a fire. in the
Mm,
fire. And she posted this beautiful, I mean, this was her dream home. Curate over years and years
mm-hmm,
putting things in that really spark love and joy and,
mm,
connection. And then so she posted because someone reminded her that in that episode with him, he said there's something about fire here. And he literally he he called it.
mm.
Like I'm seeing fire, I'm seeing water, I'm seeing devastate like some like a bunch of stuff. And it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And here she was making this gorgeous post about how devastated she is that she lost her dream home. And it doesn't matter that she has the money. It doesn't matter that everyone has such a connection to where they live.
Yeah. Several of our favorite podcasters had to evacuate their homes, you
Yeah.
know.
Rich rolls up in
Rich
Ojai.
Roll, you know,
That was a
my
beautiful
favorite
post.
podcast, To Be Magnetic, the
Oh,
founder of To Be Magnetic, she lives in Topanga and
I
she
didn't know
had,
that.
yeah, they had to evacuate and she has donkeys and alpacas and chickens and all the things. They had to
Oh,
evacuate everything. Her daughter's
wow.
preschool burned down. Like she said, a couple of hours after her daughter got pulled out of preschool for evacuation.
Wow.
Like it's just like hearing all these people's stories, but then they're also just like,
Just
how
human.
can we find like some groundedness and some peace even within this horrible thing that's happening?
Yeah.
How can we find a way to grieve and also stay grounded at the same time?
Hmm. I think it's really just resilience at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
right now, everybody's, in my opinion, you lost your home. You get to cry for as long as you need
Yeah.
to cry about it. You get to feel all the
You
feels.
get to feel all the feels.
Nothing that I'm ever going to say that will, I mean,
Nope.
it's just tragic. It is heartbreaking, and I can't even begin to talk about the animal life that lives throughout that whole Santa Monica mountain range. And I mean, I'm so grateful that they probably just ran to where the fires didn't go to, and it's not too far because when you really look at it all, it's probably like a 20-mile radius of everything. It's just so convenient.
Yeah, I have a photographer friend who lives in LA who posted some photos, I think it was last night, of some coyotes, like a bunch of coyotes that showed up in his neighborhood fleeing from the
Yeah.
fires and
So
they
if
were
you're
damaged.
listening and you're kind of close, like put out buckets of
Yeah,
water.
put out
I mean, I
water.
can't.
Put
Yeah,
out
put
water.
out water. These poor animals are just so needing, water. And, if you can put out some kibble or whatever for them, it's like whatever can help is
Yeah.
gonna really be important. But yeah, I mean, uh, LA, California is not immune to all of these types of events. Florida goes through the same type of stuff. It's like, you choose to live there. A hurricane is going to hit it at some point up the
Well, I mean,
whole seaboard. And then you have the winter storms that come so I mean, no one is immune truly. There's tornadoes
no,
in the middle of
we
our
live on planet
country.
Earth. We live on planet Earth. We are humans living
Exactly.
on the surface of planet Earth, and it is a living, changing
Organism.
organism.
Hmm. So yeah, but it definitely just like you said, it gets you to think about things. Um, create the go bag list and put it on your refrigerator for an emergency.
Yeah, it
You
had
can
me
find
thinking.
it.
I even was talking with one of my coworkers the other day. I was like, it just had me thinking because Oregon every summer now is just engulfed in wildfires and smoke. It just has me thinking like, what would I do if a wildfire, like happened in my area and encroached on town and there was an evacuation? Where would I go? What would I do? And I was talking with my coworkers and she's like, yeah, I actually just looked at the fire map, like the newest fire map for our area. And she was like, you would get your kids and come to my house because her house is out in the middle of the valley surrounded by these fields that are not going to burn. Like she's not in a burn area. So she was like, you would grab your kids and come to my house.
I
So we were,
love that.
and then
But
I
it's
printed
important
out
to have your plan in place,
yeah,
even
and I
plant
printed out and
plant
sent my
seed
sister
too.
this a link someone shared, but because of the wildfires of like, here's a list of like a checklist of all the things you need to know where they are in your
Yes.
home and
Yep.
just simple things like that and like keeping some food and like some non-perishable food and water in a little box in the back of your car, just like little things like that. Having a go bag. I don't think that, a lot of people are like, oh, that's like doomsday preppy, but it's not doomsday preppy. It's just smart. It's just,
It is.
it's
And
smart.
especially if you're a parent. I mean, it is important to know, like, to have some of that stuff because the first thing you're going to be thinking of, not only are you in a moment of stress and reaction and,
Yeah.
and being activated in a way that is like cortisol through the roof at that
Mm-hmm.
moment. Now all of a sudden you're now mom too. It's not like you're just
Mm-hmm.
getting yourself out and the dog, and the cats. Like
Yeah.
you now are a mom and now it's like, oh, do we have extra water? Oh, do we have like, I don't know, applesauce, like things that can like, that are still good, like in the pouch, like pouched fruit and things like that, that
Yeah.
at least it just gives them a little energy, and things like it's like you have to think about 10 different things. I mean, we always had
Well,
earthquake kits growing up, always because LA
yeah.
constant.
And because I travel so much, like because I do so much like road tripping or like I
I
do
have,
photo sessions or like go
yep,
off kind of grid places in my
yeah.
SUV, I have always had the thought of like, could I survive 28 to 48 hours in a no cell phone zone if something were to happen in my car and I couldn't get out and there's not a lot of people around and the chances of me being found, it's going to take a while. Would I be able to survive? So I always have extra snacks in my car. I always have water. I always have extra outfits like warm blankets, hand warmers, like emergency things in my car because that's just smart.
Actually, yesterday I just threw away the some of the several dried food meals that I had in the car, but because
Uh-huh.
of the heat here,
Yeah.
I mean, they get jacked.
Yeah.
So when I get back from this trip, I'm going to replenish that because I have a camping little stove and I have
Yeah.
propane in my car. And because I think about stuff, I
Yeah.
just, we're like Girl Scouts. We're just adult Girl Scouts at this point in our life because, you know,
And a certain someone is about to become the president, so now's a good time to make sure you have your passports renewed.
that's damn
Just
true.
saying.
I know we just got Caden's all done, so
Just
that was
saying.
really nice. I know. Well, and kids change so much. You have to get theirs done every 5 years. Like
I
it's
have to get my
change.
kids' passports. I have not done that yet, so that's on my
Ooh,
list this year to do passport. I have to renew mine, and then I need to get theirs done too.
yeah. So, well, I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but it's been a tough week for anybody who grew up in and lives and knows LA really well or has connections to it. So I'm just sending light and love and have sent some money to some organizations and
Mm-hmm.
it's just, that's literally all I can do at the moment. I was talking with our friend Michelle, my friend
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, and she said, let's try to go there at some point soon and just pitch in and
Yeah.
help with whatever we can. So we'll probably do that. I told her we could crash with my mom. My mom will love having us there. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah. There you go. There you
And
have it.
there you have it. Today's 111.
111, yep.
Got the 111 portal and we have a full moon coming on the 13th.
Yep, Monday.
So
Full moon in
every
Cancer. There's a lot of
feel
big energy
feels
right now. It's a lot of big
a
energy, a lot of
lot of
emotional
big
energy.
energy.
Don't be surprised if your kids are unhinged next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gosh, crazy.
Don't be surprised
I
if
won't be with
you're
I won't be
unhinged. If you're listening, don't be surprised if you're unhinged next week.
if you're unhinged too. We're all
Just
unhinged walking
let's just all
around.
be gentle with each other next week.
Exactly. Just be kind. Just whatever you can do. Just be nice to people.
Just just be kind.
Well, love you, friend. Love you, podcast.
Love you too.
Love you, peeps. The pod is awesome.
Yes.
Very supportive group. So, talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode today, be sure to subscribe and share because what do we say, baby?
Sharing is caring.